Phoenix 555 for your message or messages. Come in. Come on. I've got intel. Recon is afoot. Your comings and goings be forever covered by the grace of the Most High. When in doubt, go within. Are you fabulous, gorgeous and lovely, bestie? We've got a number of things to unpack today, darling dears. Let me lower the music. We're going to talk about Mother's Day because in the UK today is Mother's Day, darling dears. Or mothers all over the world. Because people are making some hard decisions today, darling dears. Whether to honour or to walk away. Shut that door. Because if you're choosing to honour your mother, darling dears, no matter what her flaws are, she gave you life, shaping the core of whom you are today. She endured challenges, sacrifices to pave the path for your growth. Even if she was imperfect, her journey taught you resilience, empathy, and the strength to confront your own struggles. She's human, flawed, complex, deserving of forgiveness for the burdens she couldn't lay down. Or you might be on the other side, the ones that are choosing to walk away. Why? Some wounds can't be healed, blood. They can't be healed. And the fact that the distance is necessary. Got to get a bit French up in this bitch, darling dears. It's necessary for your growth. Letting go is not a betrayal, but a declaration of your own well-being. Walking away is the ultimate act of courage, darling dears, to prevent repeating of the same pattern, right, in future generations, your generations. Sometimes honoring your truth means choosing yourself over explanations and guilt or obligation, darling dears. This is why we're going to talk about this today, darling dears. Yes, I've had another surgery. I had to have carpal tunnel surgery, darling dears. And you know me, big cat moves in silence. But I am back. Yeah. Anyhow, let's carry on, darling dears. We're going to start off with the dice. We're not going to use the dominoes today because they're far too big for me to push around. Some wounds can't be healed, eh? You have the energy of a 4, darling dears, and we love the 4. Let's get this straight. Okay. The energy of the 4, darling dears, it came through because this is all about you, darling dears. The energy of the 4, according to astrology, is the 4th house. The 4th house represents the mother, darling dears, the mother energy, the foundation of your core emotional energy, darling dears, the roots, the family, and it's come out. Everything's coming on top today, darling dears. For some of you, you realized you was in a situation where you had competition, where you didn't expect it, darling dears. Some mothers were jealous of your beauty, your intelligence, darling dears, your goodness, your kindness, whatever it is you put on the tablet, they didn't like it. All right? The 4th house is also about your conditions in your early life. So we're all in alignment, darling dears. We're in alignment. The energy of the 4, darling dears, according to the low shoe grid, is about your wealth, it's about your prosperity, but most importantly, it's about your self-worth, darling dears. Can we put a capital on that? Your self-worth, darling dears. it also speaks about early spring. So whatever's happened, darling dears, something during the early springtime or leading up to the springtime, darling dears, late winter, early spring, something happened, darling dears, something's happened. Your power colors are purple, green, and gold. Okay, let's take it to life path. You could be a life path 4, darling dears, or the numbers 4, 13, 22, or 31 will be on your hemisphere, as well as your lucky numbers of the 3, 6, and 9. Come through Tesla with the key to the universe. Posh clap. Unlike what's going on. Listen, besties, I did the reading on Elon Musk months ago. Go and look at the reading. I told you that Elon Musk is a pig according to Chinese astrology, and this is the year of the snake. Good golly and the gosh, what did he do? He did that salute on stage, darling dears, and he's lost 250 billion. Good God, good God. I told you this is going to be anybody that's born under the pig energy, right? Let me run off the dates, darling dears, in case anybody's missing out. Because they're going to get it. If you was born in the years 1947, 1959, 1971, 1983, 1995, 2007, 2019, and going forward it will be 2031 and 2043, darling dears. He's not having a fabulous time. Go and watch the reading that I did months ago, darling dears. When it comes to the charts, I'm the baddest out there. I do predictive charts that are accurate. Remember, I told you that. Fist bump. But let me get back to the read, darling dears. The energy of the 4, you could be a life path 4 or a 22. A master builder, darling dears. A problem solver. We love it. Why? You've been playing a long game in a situation, possibly involving your mother. There was a lot of emotional energy involved. This energy, what motivated you? We're going to see what it motivated you to do. The energy of the 4 is also representative of a square. A square is like an impasse, darling dears. It's tension. Squares are created on an astrological chart because they're 3 signs apart. Okay. When we see a square, as I said, it can create an impasse, but it's also the root of change, darling dears. This is where we all love that sweet spot. We don't like it. We're forced into it, darling dears. But it's a choice whether you change or you continue to put up with whatever you've been putting up with. And remember, whatever you was putting up with, darling dears, it took you to your stress threshold, your most pissed offedness. But I digress. Let's carry on. Let's carry on, darling dears. The energy of the 4 is ruled by the letters D, M, and V. It's ruled by Uranus. Uranus rules Aquarius, and the letters D, M, T. The number 4 is also ruling what? The North Node, darling dears. So the choices that you have made or making now, darling dears, this is what is going to set you on path going forward. Okay? All right. We're carrying on. We're carrying on. We love the Uranus energy. Why? It's the rebel, darling dears, the ones that don't go against the grain. It's the ones that shakes things up. These are normally what? The black sheep of whatever family you was born into. Remember, I told you that. Okay, let's dive a little deeper into Uranus. As I was saying, it's a fixed air sign, darling dears, the rebel, and it brings about what? Full-on change. The change is shocking to some, darling dears. Shocking to some. It also speaks about you utilizing technology. You must utilize technology, darling dears. It's part of your path. Why? The energy of the 4 and the 22 came up in your reading. Whether this is your life path, this is your message. All right. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. Okay. According to the dice, darling dears, the energy of the 3 speaks about conflict. Why? People are seeing that you're about to make a change, a life change, darling dears. Why? Because they've been spying, darling dears. Your mother may be spying on you now. Good golly and the gosh, darling dears. It speaks about there being a lot of arguments, a lot of discord, a lot of back front neck tabbing, darling dears, where they went for the white meat. Remember, I told you that. You also have the energy of the 1. When we see that this is so important, you have a major decision to make, but divine is telling you to hold off until the next new moon. Okay? I nearly told you when the next new... No, because I want you to have a look for yourself, darling dears. You need to find out these things. Go on astroseek.com and you can download the moon cycle. You need to know these things, especially if... Just like with my carpal tunnel surgery, darling dears. I planned it so that it was just before the building of the new moon. It was on the 27th, okay? It was building up because the new moon is for what? Healing, darling dears, restoration. So like I said, any form of surgery, plan it around the new and the full moon, darling dears. But anyway, I digress again. Let's carry on. So they're talking about you, darling dears, and you have a major decision to make. Why do I say they're talking? You have an 11 on top. 11 is what? Aquarius energy. We are back with the number 4. I just told you the number 4 is ruled by Uranus, and that's Aquarius energy, the 11th house, darling dears. They're noticing what you're doing with your life, darling dears. Good golly and the gosh, remember, somebody's paying close attention. All right, okay. The energy of the 11th house speaks about your groups. It speaks about older siblings as well, darling dears. People that you adopted into your family. It speaks about how you make your money, employment money being paid to you, darling dears. Either you are the boss or you are a boss. You're being paid like a boss. Remember, I told you that. It's the 11th house is the house of accolades, achievements, darling dears. It's also the house of what? Fans. You've created a fan in the people that can't come back. Good golly and the gosh. It's because of your forward thinking, darling dears. And again, I can't impress on you enough, darling dears. You have to utilize technology, okay? Whether you are, I don't know, building a website, do something on YouTube, you have to use it. Why? You have the energy of the 4, darling dears, the Uranus energy. You are that unexpected element, okay? All right, let's press on. Let's press on. According to the 48 laws of power, it is what? Say less. Tell no one nothing, darling dears. The only person you must speak to is the Most High. And if you have to tell someone, go and tell one of your relatives that's already passed on, darling dears. Keep it to yourself. Tell nobody nothing. Why? Because they will scupper you, darling dears. You'll be on the rocks of life before you know what's going on. This is the time when you see the energy of the 4 from the 48 laws of power. It's the time for you to be in observation mode. Why? Because the more you speak, the more you reveal. Let them talk first. Let people say what they got to say first. Sometimes you're flying off the handle and just spewing out. No! In order to be the prototype of your lineage, darling dears, you've got to learn when to shut up. Pack it in. Tell no one nothing. You could be bursting to share this information, but how do you know this person is for the betterment of you? You don't know what they're planning in the background. We've just got the energy of the 11th house. Outside groups, darling dears. Maybe the groups that you're in, maybe you are looking at the whole. Because sometimes if you have to cut off the head of the snake, everyone else has got to go. All right. So they're talking, the energy of the 3 according to Astrology is the 3rd house, lots of communication. It's also the house of gossip, darling dears. Online, people sending messages backwards and forwards. If you're planning a trip over water, it's going to go fabulous, gorgeous and lovely, darling dears. All forms of ground communication is going to be good for you at this moment in time, darling dears. It speaks about you're doing something in your community. If you are, make sure that you are utilizing technology, darling dears. It's on your side. Any form of short journey will be fabulous, gorgeous and lovely. Somebody's also going in as a student of languages. That is also fabulous, gorgeous and lovely, darling dears. The 3rd house is also the house of your communications. It could be the communications for your business, darling dears. Remember, I told you that. Let's stick a pin in that. Otherwise, I'll be on this all day and I haven't even touched the cards, darling dears. So they're talking about you, are they? Your mother is talking about you. What's she saying? I can't make this up. She wants a second chance. It says here, I will, and if you give second chance, I will make you pay for leaving. I am ill or sick and need a caretaker. I need your help. You are stable. Now's my chance. They want a second chance. This looks like it's gone the wrong way, darling dears. We was hoping for light, but we've got chaos, darling dears, chaos. So she wants a second chance. What could she possibly have done to make you leave? Right? We had what? Jealous and bitter. Yes, a very jealous, bitter person that was your mother. Was, darling dears, was, right? They've got what? Anger and emotional issues. I can't make this up. Good golly, and they've got anger issues and they took it out on you, did they? Mm-hmm. Oh. SEX was like Russian roulette, darling dears. So they didn't enjoy the SEX they got to procreate you, darling dears. Because you see, in some of them other situations, they could have been in an abusive situation where the partner was doing these things to them, darling dears. And when you was conceived, it was conceived in anger with emotional issues, anger towards the partner, everything, darling dears. So again, it wasn't your fault. But they still gave you what? Jealous, bitter energies. What's this? I am miserable without you. They're miserable without you, guys. The grass greener syndrome, karmic is no challenge, right? Adulting is not their forte, darling dears. It's not for them. The Jezebel, Jezebel is my name, and F shit is my game. Listen, I can't make this up. This one came out by itself. I didn't make it up, right? Putting the cards together. What's on the top? Move in silence, darling dears. This is your observation mode where you pay attention to everything that's going on. You have to remember, when your higher self is warning you, darling dears, it's quiet. It's a quiet voice telling you to go left when you want to go right. The one that tells you to turn back into your house and you go back in your house and something that is most important has been left open. Pay attention, darling dears. Stealth mode, shut up. Easter Island and Stevie Wonder. All right, now that we've got that off our chest, darling dears, this person wants a second chance. They're extremely bitter and jealous. They've got emotional issues, anger issues. They weren't happy about you being procreated, darling dears. So I can imagine what your life was as a young child. Being emotionally ignored by your own parent, your mother. To the decks. The shuffling is a bit difficult, but apart from that, I'm good. Tell them at the back, nothing wrong with the big cat, yeah? All right. In the reverse, darling dears, the core of the situation. This house was never a happy home, darling dears. Unstable, darling dears. Lots of arguments, lots of fights. It could also speak about physical fights, darling dears. The core energy, darling dears. Anything that was offered to you, we've got the Knight of Cups on its forehead, darling dears. This was disingenuous. This was a liar. This is not somebody that enjoyed the situation that they was in, and they made sure that you didn't enjoy it. They didn't want you to have no future, darling dears. And anything they told you was a lie. This is a page. This is emotionally immature energy that you were surrounded by, darling dears. We've got Two of Cups. Lean in, guys. Lean in. We've got the Two of Cups on its forehead, darling dears. This is Cancer energy as well as Venus energy in the reverse. Venus energy is about your self-worth. This person worked on your self-worth, darling dears. Fire energy created a lot of chaos, okay? We've got two people here. Did they favor someone else or someone else's over you? Could possibly be, darling dears. Let's carry on. Let's carry on before I interrupted myself. Okay? All of the emotions from this relationship with your mother, darling dears, this was the basis of any bad health you've experienced in your life going forward. Remember, I told you that. This person was extremely superficial, darling dears. The mother may have gone through some kind of a separation or a divorce, darling dears. Okay? A situation that was never meant to be stable. Remember, I told you that. All right. There was lots of arguments, darling dears. You may have even had some kind of a temporary separation from your mother. Two of Cups in the reverse. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you was taken into childcare. That definitely happened, darling dears, when you was very young. Remember, I told you that. This person worked on your self-worth, darling dears, created a lot of arguments and destabilization around you. Good golly and the gosh. So what was really their motive for being so mean to the big cat? What was really their motive? To keep you trapped, darling dears, especially in your cranium. And when they keep you trapped and stuck, darling dears, it makes you think that you can never change the situation. Their motive was to keep you as a less than, darling dears, a thumber. Somebody was also threatened with a stabberoo, darling dears, by this mother energy. They wanted you to stay stuck in this situation, darling dears, believing that you had never had no way out. Believing that you never had any help, darling dears. They may have had as many as, 7 or 8 people against you. Imagine that. All them people against one you, darling dears. The baddest of them all, I might add. Fist bump. Okay. So what was it? Okay, we know what they tried to do to keep you stuck in this situation. Okay, so what was they trying to take? What was they trying to take? Chariot. Energy of the Chariot, darling dears, tells me it's your warrior spirit, darling dears. There's something uniquely different about you, something that you can't be apologetic for. Why? Because it's in you, darling dears. They wanted to take the success, any success you was going to make in life going forward. Lean in, bestie. Lean in. As I said, it's your warrior spirit. This is Cancer energy, darling dears. Cancer is moon energy. Moon energy, Pisces. Because it's the moon energy is the mother energy, darling dears. They didn't want you to have any idea of building a life for yourself. So again, this goes back to the destabilized foundation. This mother never taught you nothing. This is the type of mother that if you was going through your menstruation, you didn't even have no guidance on that, darling dears. Do you understand things like that? They didn't teach you about boys and how wicked they could be. They never told you anything like that, darling dears. Reversed. The ones in reverse next to the swords, this person was very depressive, darling dears, possibly a manic depressive, even a schizophrenic, darling dears. This is someone that's gone unchecked. In a sense, when we see the Chariot in this position, it's also about what destiny swapping, darling dears. Something about you. They wanted to take it, wanted you to never realize your greatness when you was born to be great. Chariot is success, darling dears, moving forward. Somebody may have bought a new car, darling dears. It could also speak about a new foundation. All right, a new home. Remember, I told you that. The good, the golly, and the gosh, darling dears. It's almost like destiny swapping. Okay. What does the Most High have to say about this? Let's bring a bit of guidance into you right now. What does the Most High want you to know about this destiny swap? It fell right past me. Can I get it? I'm dexterous. I can use my feet. All right, got it. Got it. We've got the Sun card, darling dears. Sun card is the happiest card in the deck. Because when we see the Sun card, darling dears, the Sun card is the happiest card in the deck, and it's about you putting the past behind you like a ponytail, darling dears, not allowing what took you to this point, to the breaking point, to overtake what you've got going on now. The Sun card is about happiness, it's about holidays, it's about unity. And again, because it's a child in this card, it's something that they did to you in your childhood years. Again, we're back in the 4th house, darling dears, the house of the mother. We spoke about the moon, high priestess energy. Is the mother energy that's coming through here. This could be the person that wants the second chance, darling dears. They would love for you to put the past behind you, all right? They want you to put the past behind you like a ponytail, darling dears. Well, it's up to you, bestie. When you see the fun, there's things that I like to say that I don't want to say them in front of them. You really are going to go back? You're really going to go back, darling dears? You don't love your edges. You don't like your hairline, do you? Do you? You like to be on edge, darling dears, in situations that you know that they're talking about you. And if they don't like you, bestie, they sure as she's naive do not like your children. Let that sink right in. Somebody wants a second chance, darling dears. Someone who would have liked to have destiny swapped, who tried to stop the warrior energy that is on you, darling dears. What's in you, what's in you? They wanted to stop it, darling dears, but they can't break what divine made. And my right hand is itching me. That is Skrilla.com coming through, darling dears. We love when we get the Skrilla. Scratch it, rub it together, and then blow it away out the window if you can, to let the universe know that you're ready to receive. They want a second chance. Base of the deck, we've got the Knight of Swords, darling dears. This is the message coming through, darling dears. You've got a messenger coming through. Energy of the one, darling dears, reminding you that you have a major decision to make. Maybe this messenger that's on their way, darling dears, they're going to be part of the decision whether to go back to a situation, to give a second chance to someone who is bitter and jealous, darling dears, who has anger and emotional issues, darling dears, who when they procreated you, it was like Russian roulette. They didn't even like doing what they was doing at that time, darling dears. They're miserable without you, darling dears. Just imagine how they're going to work on your everything, darling dears. Your self-esteem. Would you leave your children with them? Okay. Divine has already told you. You saw the Chariot card. Your warrior energy is something that they can't imitate and they can't recreate, darling dears. The energy of the 7, darling dears, is about analyzing a situation, knowing a situation, darling dears, listening to your dreams. The energy of the 7 is Neptune energy. There's disillusionment there, darling dears. Neptune energy is the 12th house, darling dears. Pisces energy, okay? Pisces energy is about family secrets. The habits and patterns of your past, darling dears. Some of you have resorted to escapism to get over all of the traumas. The 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. Remember, I told you that. All right. What's the spiritual tax if you take this person back into your life? Queen of Cups on her face, darling dears. The Queen of Cups is someone who is bitter and jealous. Somebody who is a what? They're like a hyacinth bucket. There's no bouquet here, darling dears. This is someone who can't co-create on their own, darling dears. The Queen of Pentacles has health issues, darling dears. There's something going on with her health. Lean in, bestie. It does sound a bit. It does. Listen, I'm going to tell you what it is, darling dears. Lean in, right? Because something wrong with her health. The Queen of Cups is Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo energy, right? So we've got Capricorn energy is Saturn energy, darling dears, and that's the devil energy. So they've either got the big C, or they may have the HIV, darling dears, some form of disease, right? They may even have a bit of insanity, right? They've got a bit of craziness. It's not working, darling dears. They're a few sandwiches short of a picnic, right? Remember, this person is bitter and jealous. And did I tell you that there was a shameless gossip? They're a shameless gossip, darling. They're shameless. Okay. Virgo energy is Hierophant energy, darling dears. Hierophant energy, they're having issues with their nutrition, darling dears. They've got some kind of deficiency going on with them as well. Good golly. And the gosh, darling dears. The Taurus energy is Venus energy, darling dears. Lean in, bestie. Lean in. I should stop. I'm not laughing at them, darling dears. I'm not laughing at them. I'm laughing at the situation because I can't believe it. I cannot. They've got an issue with their hormones, darling dears. Their blood pressure, their blood there's a lot of things going wrong, darling dears. In some cases, they want a second chance or a nurse of a purse. Remember, this is the Queen of Pentacles in the upright. She is nurturing. She is loving, darling dears. She knows her worth. This person don't know their worth. And who are they going to take it out on, darling dears? Anybody that falls into that trap again. Peace. Let peace reign. I'm like, thank God you said let peace reign. 5 of Wands on its forehead. No, you're choosing you. Fire energy, darling dears. Fire energy. Good golly and the gosh, darling dears. The 5 of Wands in reverse. This breaking up of a situation, you having no confidence in a situation, in anything changing, right? So the 5 of Wands in reverse also speaks about lawsuits. You may have to have a lawsuit, a person. Maybe you need to get them off the stalkation, darling dears. Yeah, Sputnik is their name. Of course they'd like to come back. This one wanted to open up, darling dears. Because you're good, darling dears. Again, accolades, achievements. This is success. You got success going on. This what? Jezebel. My name is F shit, right? And it's my game. Good golly and the gosh, darling dears. Do you really want to get involved with somebody like that? Let's get one more read on you and then we're out of here to enjoy the rest of our Mother's Day, right? Even if you're mothering your own self that particular day, right? I just picked up this deck and the elastic band wasn't on it, but this just fell out, darling dears. Good golly and the gosh. Justice card in the upright. Good justice in your favor, darling dears. This is the balancing out of a situation. Justice is also the 7th house. Your one-to-one relationships. Somebody's been through a divorce, darling dears. But things have been what? Fabulous ever since, darling dears. Up and up. A return to health for some. Base of the deck, darling dears. Again, we have the Hermit card. Good golly and the gosh, wasn't we just talking about what's going on with their issues, darling? This Hermit card is telling me that you had to isolate yourself. You had to go within to understand whom you are. You took the time while you was in the DNS, darling dears, to learn new things. Learn mostly about yourself. And whatever game they got, it's the World card, darling dears. You don't want them to come back. Yes, they would like to read. Of course they would. They would love this second chance. But the second chance is the Queen of Pentacles on her forehead. She's got health issues, bitter, jealous. Hasn't changed a fig, darling dears. They'll be nice for about what? All on 5 seconds. 5 seconds at the most. Then we'll be back to the same shiznai, darling dears. Look, split the deck. You better choose wisely because you already packed up your kit and caboodle. Easter Island and Stevie Wonder. Let's get one more card and then we're out of here to get great. I'm going to end with the black cards. No, we didn't. We didn't do an oracle ancestral message. We're going to end with one of those. We're going to use the African goddess. Give it a good shufti. Surrender, darling dears. You are sitting underneath an archway. When we see an archway, it's a portal, an opening, a new beginning. Let go of the situation. Give it to the Most High, darling dears. This is no longer your battle. Remember, I told you that. Hey, right? There's no need for what? Rage in the situation, darling dears. Let them be at rage with themselves, darling dears. This is not your battle to be involved with. Not every battle that presents must you attend, darling dears. Why? You're a big cat. You win wars. Ha ha! How dare they? Listen to your intuition, darling dears. Listen to your intuition, that little quiet voice. And it will tell you, with me, whenever it's something bad, I can feel it in my tummy, darling dears. It's like a sinking feeling. But whenever something is good, I get like a butterfly feeling around my stomach. Everybody's intuition and intuitive, right, is different. Okay, that's how it happens for me. Split the deck. Utilize your creativity, and again, we are in the 3rd house, darling dears. Something that you're doing in the 3rd house involving communication, and again, technology, darling dears. This is the way to go. Maybe you're doing it to achieve your accolades. Are you doing something online? Whatever it is, darling dears, put your back into it. Don't look back. Remember Lot's wife, Salt Bay. And a snake only sheds its skin to become a bigger snake. On that note, I drops me mic to love to my Teesprings, my Patreon, or my TikToks for my extended videos. If you'd like a personal read, please hit me up in the Gmail. And as I always say, don't get smoked. And don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big cat wave. Until we meet again. On these tarot streets, cat, honor the mother that honors you. Remember, this relationship is a two-way street, darling dears.